Hello there. We need to have a little chat about social cohesion theory, which, if you haven't come across it before, think of it kind of like the Force, in that it's something that surrounds us, penetrates us. It's the power that binds the galaxy together. No, not the galaxy, though, just groups in general. So it works on a large scale and on a small scale. And in terms of society, social cohesion is something that basically keeps us where we are in society as a group. We all have kind of shared values, and that's really important for building any kind of society or group, no matter what size. Now, social cohesion theory, when it comes to media, is also really specific about how the media interprets what's happening with society as a whole, even though it might not necessarily be accurate. So, for an example, when you see media put a focus out there on things like youth crime, even though we have a smaller youth crime rate than we did 10 years ago and it's constantly falling, that makes us sit there go, oh, society is not doing what I think it should, and it's starting to fall to pieces. Now, one of the really interesting things about this is that there are people who fall for that, who are very susceptible for believing that society is falling to pieces because social cohesion is just not quite right in their heads. They might have been indoctrinated by another group to have that sort of belief structure or look at a viewpoint that's not necessarily the same as the rest of society. You know who I'm talking about. It seems to be a topic of a lot of videos lately. Now, let me give you an example here. This is a story that appeared in yesterday's paper about teachers and librarians starting to prepare for culture war bullshit because, as it was always going to be, those anti trans groups out there that are getting angry at everything, who are also angry at things like vaccines or whether or not the government actually has a secret ministry for people who have resignations or that the underground bunker inside Parliament's really there for trafficking children. Those people, they've used this as an anti LGBT community kind of Trojan horse. So they come out, start attacking teachers and librarians and other professionals about this and using it very much to push their view that this is how society should move forward. And what they're actually doing is they're taking a shared value system that we have as a country around acceptance and understanding that has been built up over many, many years, and they're going against it. Therefore, bringing into doubt the cohesion of the society that we live in. When it comes to media, pushing something like this story is really a double edged sword. On one hand, it does amplify this idea that social cohesion is fraying at the edges. At the other end of the spectrum, most New Zealanders are going to sit there going, why would you be such a dick and push that sort of thing out there to other people? Why would you treat other people like shit? That's not a very socially cohesive thing to do. They probably wouldn't think that specific thing, but you get the gist of it. And media has a responsibility to report this kind of thing because the increase that's going on out there in terms of interactions against the LGBT community is really important to know. Those are hard fought, hard won basic tenets of our society of acceptance for everyone, and these people are fighting against it. And if your kids are involved with that, if your kids are at a school where suddenly you've got an influx of anti LGBT sentiment going ahead, and your kid is in that community, how are you going to feel? You need to know these things. It's a really double edged sword. And it can be boiled down really simply in that we have to make the decisions as to what sort of society we want, how inclusive it is for everybody, and how accepting we are of people. And some groups just don't like doing that. They're just kind of dicks. And that's what's really starting to fray at the edges of our understanding of social cohesion where we live.